I can go to Instagram or something. It don't matter.
All right, and we're live again. Sorry. Apparently, Zoom decided we only had 10 minutes, so we had to reset the meeting. All right, so welcome to the first stream. Uh, my name is Sean. I'm with Fritz Home Tech Solution, and this is my friend Ryan with Tech's Smart Home.
Yep.
So I guess we'll start off with how'd you get into smart homes there, Ryan?
I fought it for a long time and finally had a couple questions and videos the wife showed me where she got interested. So that led me down that rabbit hole and eventually hit Home Assistant, which started an even deeper rabbit hole that I'm on now and been journeying on since. So,
My wife actually is the reason why I got into it. She wanted to be able to turn off lights. My brother was living with us at the time, and he worked late, so he'd come home and turn on lights and forget they were on. So she's like, "Make these smart, so we can cut them off. Nobody's in the room and stuff like that, and save money on electricity." And then that's what started it, and I went crazy. I think the first thing I actually bought was Samsung Smart Things, and then I bought something that just wouldn't work with it. So I tried to find something to make it work, and that's how I ended up on Home Assistant back in like early 2020. It looked completely different back then. It's come a long way, and the rest is history. Outfitted my whole house, and now I kind of just find stuff to do. Um, so I guess tell us,
yeah.
you had a big project this past weekend, huh?
Yeah, we ripped out the old breaker box that was in the home when it was built and then upgraded to a larger so that I can expand, add some breakers for various other projects, but also to drop the Sense whole home energy monitor in there and prep for the generator we're installing. It was surprisingly quick to install for the electrician and then even quicker to set up in the app. I'd say it was maybe 5 to 10 minutes at most, had it on Wi-Fi, connected up and running, and then maybe 2 to 3 minutes had it connected to Home Assistant, just pulling data right now. So it
Oh yeah,
takes about 30 days to get consistent information on all the appliances, the breakers, but it's already shown a pretty good amount for the vampire load, basically whatever is on at all times, no matter what. So it's gonna be fun to watch because that was one of the things my wife really wanted to get started with was the energy savings. So between that and the goofy intruder alert videos she saw, energy savings was the big one. I mean, knocking $70 off energy so far just with some of the presence-based lighting and things like that. She's given the green light and it's led me down that rabbit hole even further.
that's pretty cool. Um, so what's the purpose of having the sense? Like, what are you gonna do with it as far as other than energy monitoring? I mean, like, can you create triggers whenever something's using too much energy, or I mean, what are you gonna do with that?
Yeah, for various places that I have smart plugs, I can go ahead and flip things off. I mean, some of the smart plugs I had from Sonoff and some other brands, I was already tracking usage and have appliances unplugged that were killing a lot of electricity to begin with. Um, so with this, if I'm seeing something pull too much or have abnormal usage, just unplug it or check the device to see if something's gone wrong hardware wise too. I mean, it'll be a good way to catch something if it's starting to fail.
Yeah. Um, well, what I've been up to, it's not as exciting as you, but I've already installed everything. I'll probably look into that sense 'cause that sounds pretty neat and come with all kinds of stuff. But been automating the boring stuff, like the stuff I don't want to do around the house, or making it nag me to do it. Kind of remind. I've been doing a whole push to become more efficient or productive, I guess is a better term. So I rigged up a automation to keep bugging us until we feed the dogs on time, and you literally have to get up and go hit a button to stop the automation. And so I took that automation, I built that a while back, and did the same thing with our litter box. So I have a litter robot, a smart cat box,
There you go.
that connects directly to Home Assistant, so I can do anything and everything. And I got in the car a button sitting on the wall, and Amazon's Echo, because I'm not going to say the actual name because I'll probably trigger a whole bunch of people's things. Will sit there through one of the Home Assistant integrations and just keep on bugging us like change the cat box, change the cat box. Now, of course, I don't have this set because it can go off at any time. I have the conditions with either me or my wife's home for this to even trigger off. I'm trying to figure out when I come home, like if it got full while we were gone, I'm trying to figure out a way to make it kick off when we do get home. So it's already four automations that are chained together. So I don't want to chain a fifth one, but I might be able to use this and or if because Home Assistant's got a lot of stuff I haven't been messing with, like the ifs and ors and ands and all the conditions. And then they went and changed everything on me and made building an automation simpler or more streamlined. I guess it's easier to find the stuff, or it's more intuitive.
Yeah, they
But
made
I'm
the user interface a little bit easier. For coding, you can definitely get into some deep automations that do some wonders for efficiency, though.
Yeah, that's where I'm lacking. I need to start learning to code. I've learned the YAML and the JSON because of Home Assistant, but anyway, that's what I've been working on.
Yeah, I'm still deploying stuff everywhere. I mean, I started off with just a few smart strips for LED lights that were underlighting for like cabinets and things like that. And then once I got involved with the different little light switches or presence based, that's what really started kicking it off though, because being able to just walk and not have to yell and scream at the lights, and then also for wife and kid, not having to remember what to say and
Yeah,
does it work with GOOGLE? Does it work with Amazon? Is it Siri? What is it? So
yeah. I
Home
get tired
Assistant's
of.
been great for that. It just bridges that gap where I don't have to worry about which ecosystem. Just buy it, either flash it or code it and make it work.
Yeah, I got tired of yelling at my voice assistant to do things, and then it'd be like, "Did you mean something completely off the wall?" No, it's not what I mean. Like I was trying to drop into my daughter's room, and it was trying to call her because she's in my contacts too. And I was like, no, I want to drop into her room. So I had to completely change the name of her room and go by her nickname. That was kind of
Yep.
annoying. So
Yeah, it's kind of like gotta have a little fan in the bedroom that is good for us, but wife got tired of yelling for what its name was or for it to turn on and actually listen. So just set that automation so when that light goes off at that certain time each night, it's automatically on for her and no worries anymore.
yeah, we used to have our main living room lights. I used to say, turn on or turn off living room lights, and it wouldn't catch the light part, and it would turn off the entire living room. Or turn it completely
Yeah,
on. And so I was like, oh, I had to name it something else. The voice assistants have a long way to go. And to be honest, I feel
definitely.
like if you're either having to rely on doing something in an app or your voice assistant, then it's not really smart. I'm trying to set my house up to where it reacts to me. Um, and one of the
Yep.
projects I've been trying to really find is like a smartwatch that Home Assistant can actually see in real time. That way, it can even change the room that you're in based on like your heart rate, your stress levels, and all that stuff. Maybe one day,
Yeah, that would be kind of
but
nice.
I haven't found
Yeah,
a smartwatch that does it.
just got my wife um the new Galaxy Watch. I think it's the 6 now. So
Man,
it said something in there that it may have that NFC capabilities. I know I got the 5 and it doesn't work with like the car lock and things like that. It's limited just for payments, but if they've added that with the new Samsung watch, that would be nice because I know iPhone users are kind of they're a little bit of an advantage there with any of the NFC uses for HomeKit and that kind of stuff.
I think the Google watches do that, have more advanced NFC, but I don't know. Like I have a Galaxy 3. I love it, but
Yeah.
I don't really use it as much. I've been trying to find like major uses other than just checking notifications, checking the time, and maybe changing my music station. I feel like I kind of wasted too much money on for what it does, but
Yeah, the Bluetooth tracking would be nice. It's kind of hard with either the watch or the phone right now, but I've got the proxy and the proximity sensor. So that way I've got the range across the house and everything. NFC is nice though. I want to try and figure that out for you. That a car lock that I just recently installed or
yeah,
find another lock that's gonna be compatible with that NFC because that'll be really nice, especially with the watches and make it easier for my wife.
did you actually see the new car lock that's coming out that actually goes on top of your existing lock?
Yeah, that one looks pretty nice. I mean,
Yeah,
this one I was impressed with how quick that installed too. I figured it'd be a little bit of work here and there, but I popped it in and out, and I mean, the longest part was just connecting the wires, and that was it.
yeah, it's on my list to get. They're I think U100. I'm gonna replace my quick
Yep.
set. I think it's just 888. It's an old Z Wave one. I kind of don't like it. I have the back door has a Wise one on it, which is actually a pretty good lock, but you know how I feel about Wise now. Matter
Yeah.
of fact, my next project, I
Right
just
there with
ordered
you.
it. I'm getting the Roborock S7 Max V Ultra. I don't know. It has a complicated name.
Nice.
Um, but we're getting rid of our old Wise vac just because it's dying. It's done its job. It doesn't hold a charge anymore. So I was like, well, if we're gonna upgrade, we're gonna go big. And so
There
really,
you go.
I almost got the S8, the newer one, but all the reviews. Matter of fact, I watched one today by the Hookup, and I always watch his videos before I make a big purchase. And he did this whole comparison, like really in depth comparison of all these vacuums, and that was the one that came out on top. And so that just solidified my choice.
There you go.
So that
Yeah,
that
that's the
that
one thing
video
I
will be
haven't
coming
never dove
soon.
into is the smart vacuums.
Well, dude, that was the first thing we ever got. We got a Roomba, like the base level 300, when we lived in the apartment, and my wife thought that was the coolest thing in the world. And then
Oh
she
yeah.
could tell Alexa to start it and all this other stuff. But you remember the old original Roomba? It just bounced around in random
Yeah.
patterns. And then when we finally got
Hit
this
everything.
Wise one, it actually mapped the house. I mean, for $250, it was great. But just I don't trust Wives anymore because I lost my
Oh no.
so
Yeah.
I'm slowly phasing every Wise. I got some Wise cameras, but
Yeah, I mean, that was one of my big projects recently after they went down. I think that was 3 or 4 months back. Had that outage again. I mean, that was back to back in a couple of months there where they had either vendor based or their own outages for AWS that went down. And that was another thing that spurred the whole how can I bring everything local as opposed to relying on anything with the cloud subscription? Because um, certain cameras you don't want offline at any given point, and you also don't want them exposed to certain things online. So that kind of led me
yeah,
down that rabbit hole with Home Assistant and some of the local automations.
I've got a mixture of Ring and Wise, and I'm probably gonna. I know Ring you can actually have Home Assistant take control of the cameras locally. Like you can't even see them in the app anymore. Home Assistant will become their server. But I haven't done that because my wife checks on too much on the app. So
Gotcha.
I'll probably eventually go with some PoE thing. It's just the house that I live in so old. But
Yeah, I mean,
speaking of, oh, go ahead.
Went real links. I've been pretty impressed with those so far. Like them. I got a couple solars, a couple PoEs, and a couple wired, and the MBR has been pretty nice. I'm liking it. I was debating the Unify with everything that I've got. It's already had the DVR capabilities, but tried this out, and so far it's been pretty nice. It's been a big step up from Wise than what I was used to because I'd had Wise for man at least 10 or more years now, however long they've pretty much been in business at this point.
Yeah, they're still making neat stuff, but speaking of
Yeah, I mean
local,
they got a lot now.
oh yeah, they make everything. It's like they were trying to be a whole home solution, kind of like Akara is trying to do too. Um,
Oh yeah.
but speaking of local, I got this iSmart Gate after the whole, what we're going to talk about next, the MyQ fiasco with Home Assistant, and
Hmm.
it was $30. I don't know what I was expecting. I was expecting to have another app and it'd be Wi-Fi. It does connect to your Wi-Fi, but it does. You don't have to. You install the app. You don't create an account. You just find the device on your network and then log into it like SSH kind of.
There you go.
But it automatically connects to it, and then that's Home Assistant connects to it locally too. So
Hmm.
it's a very good locally controlled garage solution if you don't have if you're looking to rip out MyQ or something like that. So
Yeah, that's one of those things that I had on the list to do eventually. I've got a couple of the car relays, other ways I was looking at doing that eventually.
I
Big thing
thought
is making
about
sure it still works with everything that exists and not messing up anything that already works.
so actually I made before I had gotten that I actually had one of those Zigbee finger bots, the knockoff bots for the Switch that I bought on like Timu, and I had
Yep.
mounted it to my garage door opener button, and then I had I think it was just a tilt sensor or something on the door that I was monitoring if it was open or closed, and so that worked until it didn't because the it had so much force that it would actually pull it off the wall. I was like, well,
Mm,
I got to get something that's better. So this actually wires directly into it, and it's kind of cool.
yeah.
I'd like to see how that Akara relay turns out, but I don't know if you're going to be able to see if it opens or
Yeah,
closes.
it's gonna have some issues from what I've read and seen online so far with handling the signals with the beams to make sure it doesn't close accidentally when it's going down. There's some other issues where I'd have to potentially run a power cable, cut it, and split it into it in order to give it outside power
Mm.
instead of powering it off the actual appliance. And don't know if I want to get into all that. Probably find something a little bit more set up already for something like that to make sure it works.
Well, I can send you the link to what I got, and you can take a look at that. Like I said, it's local. It's great.
Yeah,
Um,
definitely.
so speaking of MyQ, and Air and all these other companies, kind of what I wanted to start talking about is that like kind of the state of the smart home industry. You know, uh, it seems like there is this more of a dividing line now with companies. Either they're for the end consumer or the end user, or they're not. And I've seen just in the last couple of months a lot of companies kind of showing the true colors. You know, Mike Q Chamberlain said, "Nope, we don't want you using it with a Home Assistant." And they made up this excuse of like how a small number of their user base is bringing down their servers. It's like, well, if you don't have that infrastructure set up, then your IT guys are doing something wrong, you know.
Yep.
And then Air, I mean, here's this article right here by Hack Today. I don't know if you can see my screen, probably not, huh?
No, not at the moment.
But there's an article that Air threatens legal action against Home Assistant plugin developer. Like they're going so far to sue this guy for doing what apparently their API is allowing him to do.
Yeah. Yeah, see, I think a lot of companies have seen the current macro situation with economics, the ones that weren't quite prepared for that turn of events, maybe changing some of these models they have in order to up some revenue in places.
Yeah, I made the joke on Twitter that what's MyQ going to do next? Start charging you a subscription just to open and close your doors so many times a month, you know? And then
Yeah.
this whole Air situation's kind of gross. And then, I mean, before that, there's if this and that was a completely free solution.
Yep.
And then they started like, okay, well, we need to make money. And I get that. Like, business is business. You got to make money somehow. But then they were like, $10 a month and it's unlimited. And then they were like, $10 a month and you get like, I don't know what it is. I think it was like 15 automations or whatever they have, their connections. I quit using them. I think the free one is 5. But stuff
Yeah, I
like that,
remember when I remember using it as free way back when. It's much, much different than when I started using it.
yeah, it was a web-based crappy version of Home Assistant.
Yeah.
I've found other free ways like Voice Monkey to actually tie some stuff from Home Assistant into Amazon routines. I don't know about Google. Like I said, I'm not the Google guy here.
Yeah, I mean, it's not too bad. I mean, I've got a couple minis, one of the newer hubs, the small one that's just video and audio, nothing with the webcam. And I've got the old hub that's the Hub Max with the webcam and calling capabilities. And Home Assistant is pretty nice. I can broadcast messages and all that. And with some of those features being taken away by Google recently, that's kind of convenient to be able to keep that because I can create an automation where it's got something cached in Home Assistant to automatically say it, no matter if Google stops using it or decides to stop allowing that type of automation. Makes it nice with the little that Akara safety button, a little wireless switch that I've got in my kid's bathroom. So if it's late at night or any point and we're not around and she's out, if she holds that button down, every single Google speaker in the house just starts making that message go off, turns our lights on. So
And we're about
it's
to
integrated
start
pretty well.
we're about to start potty training our little one, so I'm probably gonna do something similar to that. So Sergeant Unstop, I hope I pronounced that correctly, said that
Yes, sir.
he moved away from Makara to Shelly over Christmas. Mikey doesn't really provide anything much these days. No, even their
Hey,
like
Sarge, how you doing?
even their built-in stuff, man. Like I had a client that I went to, and she had one of the Chamberlain Wi-Fi garage doors she didn't even know, and I was trying to get it to integrate with her Google Home setup, and it was being a pain in the butt. Um,
Yeah.
so
Yeah, I
I
don't have much
never,
experience with their products, but I know the waves they've created online recently, that's for sure.
So I don't really know much about Air. I don't think I've bought any of their stuff. Let's take a look at them real quick, or I'm gonna take a look at them. But I mean, before that, a lot of companies were doing this shady stuff, like Philips Hue and Logitech. As much as I love their mice and keyboards and all that stuff, um, their Harmony Hub they completely killed. Just everybody that bought, like, I think it was like $200-300. Like Logitech Harmony stuff was not cheap when it first came out, or when it was out. I guess first came out, it doesn't matter. But yeah, they basically just turned it into like a $300 shiny plastic doorstop, cut all
Yeah.
support to it, and that kind of bothers me of like how things do that, because Philips Hue did something similar. That's why I refused to buy Philips Hue. They killed their V1 hub, so they would force users to buy their new hub, and I was always worried about that with Smart Things whenever they decided they weren't going to do hardware anymore. Because there was a year where you couldn't get Smart Things sensors and products, and then AOTech took over finally. So they look Chinese based, Air, and it looks like they're kind of a Samsung wannabe,
Hmm.
just based off of
Yeah, I
what
don't
I'm
know much
seeing.
about them.
Global brand
Um,
portfolio, Air, apparently Akara.
I've heard of now looking up at the stream, I'm seeing who you've got pulled up now. I have heard of them in the grand scheme of things, but not in the smart home world yet. Familiar with them as a brand, but not with their smart products. So I wonder if it's the
Right.
same company or if I've got them confused with someone else.
Well, I'm hoping I'm looking at the right company because Akara is on their website, and then GE, and I don't know what Candy is.
Hmm.
Let's see, smart Italian brand, the first brand who launched Simplify, a complete range. Okay. Global brand portfolio. I only care about this one. World renowned brands. We'll visit now. Oh, okay. Well,
Is this the refrigerator company I'm thinking about? If that's the same
yeah.
company.
So yeah, it looks like they do major like big appliances like kitchen.
Yeah, if that's
Yeah.
dragging this over here so I can see it on my screen. Yeah, that's the company I'm thinking of. Yes, a Chinese-based multinational company founded in '84 for fridges and electronics and basically home appliances. That would make sense with them getting in smart homes. So they're already been making all the big appliances already. So, but I hadn't heard of them in the space yet.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't really been paying attention to be honest.
Nah,
To
been a little busy lately.
yeah, yeah. When it comes to the bigger appliances, I'm looking at like Smart Thing, Samsung, because they have a pretty proven track record, but you never know.
Yeah, we the washer isn't smart for us. I've got a vibration sensor with Zigbee, and that's worked out pretty well. And then Maytag dryer, that was actually smart connected, and I actually never wanted it when we first got it, and my wife didn't care for it either. And we ended up flipping it on, and once I had Home Assistant on, and that thing integrated real nice. So it's made that a little bit easier too, knowing that the clothes are done. Go swap them out either way from the washer or the dryer.
So apparently, Air is the American version, or the GE is the American version of Air. The sergeant said that in the chat.
Okay,
So
there
thanks
we
for
go.
letting us know. Like I said, I've never seen that brand before. Um,
I've heard of them.
so they make smart appliances similar to Samsung, LG, I assume. That sucks because that I mean I'm pretty sure they're probably big on the other side of the world, and that's why it's such a big deal. But yeah, you're gonna go as far as try to take legal action against somebody. I don't know. I just feel like
You
it,
kind
it,
of you're hitting your own customers that are going to be sitting there supporting you that much more. I mean,
well,
I don't understand it.
we're in a weird time because like video games are doing the same thing. It's like the digital
Yep.
content. Like you don't own this, and we can stop. Ubisoft did something recently. I can't remember exactly what, but I think they pulled like a game from their store, and now it just doesn't work for anybody that bought it, which is
Yeah,
terrible. You
there's been
know.
a few of those. Yeah, or
I mean
pulling
that's
the various skins and things that they've earned over the year or paid for, and then they're unavailable.
right.
Yeah,
It's also like
that's
why streaming's doing now. It's like, oh, you pay for our service, and now what you were watching is gone. It's like you don't own anything anymore. I think that's what they're trying to. Corporations are trying to push on me. And that's kind of really bothering me.
Yeah.
I feel like we paid our money. We own this thing, whether it's digital or hooked up to a cloud server. Like it's
Yeah, and
mine.
that's
I should be able to do with
something
it
I
what I
ran into
want.
recently with the car we got. It's a Ford model, and with the Ford Pass, you can hook it into Home Assistant, but apparently some users are getting popped left and right for pulling that API or pulling the login. And it's like, all right, that's all my data. If I own that car and I've got that title, there's nothing wrong with me collecting that data on my own server and watching what's going on with it. So
Well, that's another thing that you just said.
yeah, I mean they're renewing their
It's
logins, but it shouldn't even be stopped to begin with because that's my vehicle.
well, it's your data too. Like
Exactly. Yeah. It's not like I'm worried about what they're storing it on. That's up to me if it's on my server. If I'm doing a terrible job at security, that's my own fault. It's a whole nother world when I'm trusting that for a company and wherever they've got their
right.
data centers.
I just I don't feel it's right for them to just shut stuff off, shut services off without really saying anything, or at least giving us an option to make it local. Like
Yeah.
Akara, if you have Akara products and you have their hub, it's connected to a server somewhere, and if that ever goes down, well, that sucks. But they've also made it to where their products can connect to smart things. So if you have that hub, or if or straight, it directly integrates with Home Assistant if you got one of the Zigbee sticks. So
Yeah.
it's
You
stuff
can
like
go to
that.
Zigbee.
That's cool. It's like they should give us the option to do that. We don't need their cloud. I mean, Samsung's even the same way. Like their products still integrate with Home Assistant. A lot
I
of
mean, my
it,
biggest thing too is you'd think that these companies would see the move that's coming with home automation and the market that's already there. And I mean, that's a lot of overhead that they could save with cloud hardware and all the teams that are going to be supporting that too. Instead of worrying about storing all your data somewhere, let's let the users run it on their own. I mean, there's going to be a huge segment of the population that always wants to plug it in and forget and needs that cloud infrastructure, but I'm sure there's a pretty good portion that would drive revenue and profitability for these companies where they don't need a lot of that cloud infrastructure necessarily.
yeah. Or if you're going down, make it your API available in open source so people can do it. I think Insteon, I don't even know, Insteon, I believe it was a company that went out of business, and a lot of people's stuff just stopped working. So Home Assistant coders came up with a local integration for it, which was really cool. I love the Home Assistant
Yeah,
community; they're amazing.
yeah, yeah. Everything I've seen so far has been a great community. It's great wealth of knowledge and resources.
No, it's just like if I can't get something to work naturally, I just go to the forums and find some obscure integration that makes it work. Like
Yeah,
Wise
there's
doesn't
someone else
integrate.
out there that's ran into that problem already, probably.
Yeah, like Wise didn't integrate with Home Assistant, but there's a
Yep.
custom integration and it works for now until
Yeah.
Wise screws something up.
Yep.
Oh, oh,
Yeah, I mean, but even with that, I had that integration, and when they had their outage recently, that made me do that switch. I mean, part of that was even it's local and it should be working, and it was still having issues because of how bad they went down. So
yeah. It's like Govi 2 is one of those. It's all cloud based, and I have a custom integration for it. But they openly said, "Hey, we're going to work and make it to where you can control these things with a local API." Their issue was, yes, our servers are being taxed heavily by these polls, so they made a change on how their API worked.
mhm.
But they also said we're coming up with a way for you to just connect locally anyway, so it doesn't have to reach out to our servers as often. So I thought that, I mean, that's the direction smart home companies should be going. That's like
Which one was that?
Govy.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Hey, look, 10 more minutes. Sorry guys, we got
yeah,
about 10 minutes because Zoom is sucks, but
yeah.
we'll
Had
figure
someone, I
that
had
out
a buddy
next
reach
time.
out to me and say that I'm reflecting a lot over here, and it's funny he said that because that's the Govee lights that are on right now doing that reflecting. So if y'all are
Oh,
seeing me go in and out with funny colors, that's the lights on right now.
yeah, I have mine off right now, but they're all around my office as well. I love Govy. I think they're great.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I have the regular overhead lights down dim pretty light and just letting the Govee lights do their thing. That's another thing is doing that kind of stuff, saving money instead, different lights for different purposes. So
Yeah, hang on, my lights are gonna go out here in a second because I'm using the Akara Cube. So
yeah, I got mine in front
it's
of me
like
too.
if I try to turn it back to the up position, it turns everything up. I like this cube. It
Yeah.
got rid of all my need for buttons. I had like
Oh
six
yeah.
six flick buttons, which I still like flick buttons. They're still everywhere.
I got one of those little 2U finger bots. I threw it on the PC for got that link to the cube, flip it one way, flip the other, set all the lights on, turn the
Oh,
PC on.
Like how
I
I
saw I
did.
saw your yeah, I saw your wall
Yeah,
mount, and I was like, I don't know if I can mount it in the wall here just yet, but I'll get that little finger button and make life easier.
yeah. So before Zoom cuts us off, and then I have to end the stream, I wanted to talk about the new big things that are coming up with the voice assistants. So
Definitely.
apparently, you may be able to talk more about this than me, but Google Assistant's going away and it's becoming Bard.
Yeah, it sounds like they're trying to merge into I mean, like everyone else right now, merge into the AI world and see what they can do with it. But Um, I'm kind of new. I've been prepping to move away from them. That's the primary ecosystem I've had in my house. But I've been prepping to move away from them with all the local language models that are available now. And then with the year of the voice last year for Home Assistant, that
Yeah.
was a great time to dive into all this because start
Well,
building your own LLM models locally or tie into GPT. I mean, that's been real nice. Instead of getting the answers that you get from Google sometimes where you're just like, are you listening to me here?
there's a reason
Throw
why
a question to GPT and get it exactly what you need.
I didn't adopt Google. I have a mini in my office, and it sometimes I'll tell it to turn on a light, and it goes, "Huh?" I
Yeah.
think Paul Hibbert has like the best rendition of that, where it's just kind of blankly staring. But
Yep.
so Amazon's trying to do the same thing with their Echoes. They're trying to make
Yep.
a name remarkable is going to be their thing, and it's going to be a subscription. Like you're going to have to pay a subscription to get that, but they're not cutting off regular like functionality. So it's going to be like a premium service to get their AI stuff. But from what I understand, they're kind of having to push it back because they can't work it out. I'm going to do the same thing eventually when those. I think they're the M5s that are going to come in stock. The
Hmm.
M5 Echoes. I'm going to move
Yeah, those
to a local
little
voice
ESP
assistant.
32 boards.
Yeah, yeah, with all the
Yeah.
stuff built
Yep.
in. I'm
That's what I was
gonna.
gonna bring up. I'm waiting on one of those little bad boys too. That looks real nice, especially tying into GPT or anything. I'm drawing a blank right now, but my buddy actually hit me up recently about one of these little gadgets that's I think it got shown off at CES. I'm not sure where he saw it. And I just messaged him to see if he can tell me he might be watching, but it ties into the back of your cell phone and it's basically using a whole bunch of GPT models all wrapped into one bot. And you can just point it and it's going to utilize the camera on board when your phone's hardware and it'll tell you whatever you're looking at. If you have a question, you want to know what the food is, language, you name it. It's basically like an AI assistant right there on your phone at all times.
So that's another new technology I saw at CES come out recently. Was like these the rabbit. That was one. These kind of like
I think that's
phone
what it was
replacements.
actually that he was,
Yeah,
yeah. It
they're
basically is like a pack onto the phone where it works in tandem with it, but it's its own device at the same time.
well the rabbit's a completely its own device. It has a camera and everything. I tried to watch some videos on it and I didn't find anything that great about it. But I'm just thinking, is this another like accessory that you carry around that has AI built into it? There's also this one called
Yeah.
Humane where you wear it on your lapel and it will tell you and do all this other stuff. So I'll have to
My thing
see.
is a lot of people that don't want to spend the time digging into stuff, they're gonna, if they have the money, they're gonna drop it and get something that's quick and easy like that. But I think when they start diving in the world that we're in and start seeing what you can do on a great budget compared to spending three, four, $500 on those pre-built gadgets, you could spend maybe 50 bucks at best, and you've got a better, if not compatible gadget that you're making at your house for comparable hardware even.
Yeah, what was that? It, I can't remember what it was. It was an M5 with a display. One of the other big YouTubers were talking about it and showing it off, and they built the voice assistant out of it with a screen and a camera and everything. So it was basically an Echo Show. But
Yeah.
yeah, there's a bunch of crazy DIY kits out there that you can do all kinds of cool stuff with, and it's just a matter of putting in the time and effort.
Yeah, I was trying to see if I could find that little guy's name because
I think I have it in one of my lists, but I don't really want to show the world my Amazon shopping list right now. So
yeah.
a little OPSEC there.
The S3 box 3, the ESP32 S3 box 3. That's
I
that's
think it's
what it
what I
is.
think that's what it's called. Yeah,
Yeah, it's got basically the little diagonal display. It's yay big and all that.
yeah.
Yeah, it looks really
S3.
nice from
You
what
said
I've
X3
seen.
box three.
S3 dash box dash 3. It's a ESP32 device. That's another thing. I mean, there's so many of those
Electro
ESP32
pop.
devices that you can do so much with to save money
Oh
compared
yeah.
to the
Yep.
pre-builts.
This is exactly what I was looking for. The little box with the screen on it and the camera, and it's supposed to basically be the best thing for the Home Assistant voice assistant thing. Which I'm waiting for one of those, just like I was waiting for a Flipper Zero forever.
Yeah, getting one of these and using the GPT tie-in that I got right now, man, I'd love to get my hands on that because I'm sure it's going to be all kinds of fun with the things that it can do. Because right now, so far, just having GPT tied in has been real nice compared to Google and everything else with all the answers they gave.
Yeah, I mean, I can type directly into my phone and it will control my house, but I don't really want to do that either. I just want it
Yeah,
to do things whenever I
yeah,
walk into a room or sit down somewhere. Oh, speaking of
oh yeah.
sitting down, there's a pressure sensor. A company is making a pressure sensor
Hmm.
specifically for like home assistant stuff.
I
Reed
think
from
it'd kind
Smart
of
Home
legit for some
Solver
chairs and things.
had it in one of his last videos. Yeah,
Huh.
beds. It's a
Yeah.
pressure mat. It's cool. Withings. The
Hmm.
closest thing you could get was Withings bed sensor,
Hmm.
but now this
It was pretty
company is
nifty.
actually making a pretty cool uh, pressure sensor. So
Yeah, all the automations with sensors, that's been the big thing, saving money. Having those lights turn off and on or various settings and scenes, it's real nice. Sit
yeah,
and forget and not have to remember what you turned on.
and then stuff coming out like the Akara presence sensor that revolutionized how a lot of things work in my house now because
Yeah, man, that FP2 is something else. I got three of them.
I only got
Could
one
not be
right now
happier.
because here in the south, we got fans everywhere. So
Yeah, I had some grand ideas to throw it in the bathroom and learn real hard way that glass and mirrors and curtains don't play well with radar. So
yep,
we shout out to the guy on eBay by the way that was reaching out to me. I'm drawing a blank on his name and I'll try to remember, but he 3D printed it and threw it out to me and it works wonders and it's a great 3D printed bracket, but man, it it hates the bathroom. So didn't
try
work. Luckily in
the.
the front room.
Have you tried the sun off presence sensor? I have that one in my office and it works. It works a little bit better in the smaller. Oh yeah, there you go. Try that one out.
Yeah, I'm thinking about throwing that one near the laundry room, so I got the whole first floor, no matter where we're at, except for the bathroom now, present sense. Because right now I got that walk into the pantry, light on, out, gone. That's the car, little, I think the P1, the motion sensor. That one's been nice. I got, let's just look, I got a couple of those. I
Yeah.
figure put one at the top and bottom of the stairs, so I've got the stairs off, stairs on when someone's going up and down. Because
No, you got to
I mean
do
that's the last few things.
the Michael Jackson stairs.
Have it do the
If I
Kobe
had
dance as I'm going up.
if I had that stairs in my house, that's what I would do. But before Zoom closes out and kicks us off, I guess we'll wrap this up and just kind of. We'll probably be doing this every Sunday night. What do you think?
Yep.
Probably the best time.
Yeah.
Week's closing out.
Saturdays, Sundays, I mean, we both have schedules, life, but yeah, I
I think
definitely want
Sunday's
to try and get,
definitely one where we get, Sunday's a little bit better because we're preparing for the next week. But yeah, it's time we
yeah,
got less than a minute. So,
yeah,
um,
definitely want to get some more involvement next time, see if we can get some more smart home creators too and get
yeah.
some
So I
townhomes
was looking
going.
at that Rick's Smart Home or Rick's Tech
Yep.
Reviews. That the
Shout out to Rick.
Yeah, he's been liking all my stuff, and I remember when I was like, I think I was his first subscriber. I'm not 100% sure, but I saw this new thing, and he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna subscribe to this guy."
Hey,
But anyway,
definitely show me love, so shout out to him too. But yeah, hopefully we get some more people on here. It was fun. Y'all subscribe. Hopefully I'll have it up on my channel next time too.
yeah,
Appreciate you hosting us.
this I'm trying to do kind of like a town square, town hall thing for the smart home thing. So I'm gonna try to get more of the creators on here to talk about what's going on. And of course, I'll have to get better software than Zoom. Uh, so, all right, till next time, guys.
Yep.
Later.